Werewolves, zombies, and demons of every variety. They've all descended on the normally sleepy town of Warren Valley, Ohio, where the holiday and all of its strange traditions are taken very seriously. It's only 8 o'clock and the streets are already packed with costume visitors, some to show off, others to blend in, but all to celebrate the magical night of Halloween.
Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Sydney Thompson.
I'm Monica Height.
And I'm Chelsea Duff. And this week we are doing a movie that was totally new to all of us. Weren't sure what to expect going in, only knew it was like vaguely anthology-ish. The whole interwoven stories thing that Monica, I think you really tried to explain to me a little bit last time, and I just didn't get it until I watched the movie. But now that I've watched the movie, I would tell people who are wondering that it is like a spooky Valentine's Day or a spooky New Year's Eve or a spooky, he's just not that into you.
That's hilarious.
Thank you.
Actually,
Put it into the context that we can understand.
Honestly, once I realized that, I was like, I get it now. I understand now. Okay, I know what we're doing. It made a lot more sense.
Wait,
but
so what's the movie?
Did I said the name of it though, didn't I? 2007 Trick or Treat. Did I not?
I don't
Anyway, that's what we're doing.
Wait, maybe.
No, I think you're right, probably. So it is the 2007 film Trick or Treat, which this is a long description on IMDb trivia, so I'm not gonna read the whole thing. But it is, as stated, 5 interwoven stories that occur on Halloween. So it really brings us through a bunch of different tales, and it loops them all back around. And the chronology, thank you so much. The chronology is actually super fascinating once you've watched this movie once. Sydney, did you watch it more than once?
Yes, I watched it twice.
Yeah, Monica and I watched it together last night.
1.5 times.
Monica and I watched it together last night, and I was like, okay, I definitely am gonna need to go through this a second time because I feel like I was just so along for the ride the first time, and then I needed to be really paying attention to some things round 2. But I thought it was super interesting. What did you guys think?
I had a freaking blast, man. I didn't know this shit was supposed to be funny. I thought this was a serious movie. I don't know, the little cutie, the little guy, Sam, he's spooky. I thought that some fucked up shit was gonna go down. And yeah, some fucked up shit went down, but in a funny way where I went, haha, not you know what I mean? I did go a couple of times. Chelsea came to us. But yeah, that's my favorite kind of movie is a horror comedy. Who knew?
I had a great time with this. I didn't really know what to expect, and I was always very curious about Sam, like seeing him like in a bunch of like weird horror stuff, but like having no context of what it is, and TBH still not really having a lot of context about what Sam is as like a whole. Like
I have some ideas.
I didn't know, but I really, some of the little stories I think were a lot stronger than some, but I had a blast.
Yay.
This movie wasn't scary at all though, but like I still had an enjoyment in watching it.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, it was fun for sure.
It was super fun, and I didn't like get scared, but I did go like several times.
The barf is a lot of barf.
I had a great time with the barf.
He barfed onto the camera, which I did not need or ask for.
And then it's just absolutely not the texture of barf ever.
I actually very luckily looked away right when the barf hit the camera. So I didn't actually see that. So that worked out great for me.
Yeah, she did miss it. Because I went, did he barf onto the camera? And she went, what? Huh? And I was like, okay, you're lucky.
I was too busy gagging, so that's what was happening.
Mhm.
But also apparently, I found this great article that like breaks down um everything that the director, which his name is Michael Daughtry. Doherty? Doherty. Doherty? Is that how you say that? Doherty. It's Doherty, Michael Doherty. And he did a commentary on the like DVD release of this, like breaking down everything. And in part of it, he said that he really wanted to add, like, if he could go back and change the movie, he would add like 2 more minutes of barf. He's a sick
Okay,
motherfucker.
well,
He's a
he's my
fucked up
enemy now.
creep. He was like, I just
Yeah,
really wanted to like drive it home. I was like, it was already 2 minutes too long, and it
yeah,
wasn't
it
even
was
two
a lot.
minutes.
It was a lot of barf, a lot to take in.
Okay, but we're jumping ahead. We should start at the beginning because this has a very fun, strong start.
This was a great like opening thing. I had a very good time with that. Honestly, it might have been the most like scariest thing of the entire movie for me.
Yeah, I mean,
With the robot lady,
Yes. Emma.
yeah, it's
Megan from
pretty
the
like
league.
it's pretty like gruesome right off the bat. But I mean, I said this to Chelsea when we were watching it. Like immediately for me, like the dumb bitch has appeared, and it is this bitch who
Emma.
breaks all the Emma who breaks all the Halloween rules. What a fucking Halloween Scrooge! How dare I hate her? She sucks.
Emma would be the dumb bitch for just not liking Halloween in general and wanting to immediately take down all the fun decorations. Everybody knows those stay up until like right before Thanksgiving because you're lazy.
There are
That's how it
children
works.
out still. Why is that happening? And also, like, that's a lot of shit. She did a really okay, probably her boyfriend or husband, I don't know. I don't know their life. Put up all those decorations because if she's this much of a Scrooge, she probably wouldn't help. And he did an incredible job. It looked really fucking good. And that will take her at least 2 hours to take down. And she thinks that he's just gonna go up there and watch a porno for a second. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. She's got no idea about time management. That's the first problem. But also, I can't believe that she would take off her costume in the street. It's disrespectful. I'm very upset. I would never be seen without my costume on Halloween.
No, the
Mm,
costume stays on all Halloween.
Exactly.
her Halloween has ended though, so I get it's a big boxy costume. She's basically just wearing a cardboard box. It can't be like that comfortable, you know what I mean? And clearly she's a hater, so she's not really willing to stick it out for too long. I think she is good dumb bitch material for being a hater, but I don't blame her for taking her costume off because I think that's a good character choice for her. It's
Speak for
on brand.
yourself. I just
That
immediately
said,
hated her so
yeah,
much.
her costume was like pretty good though. So I kind of I don't really believe that that husband is the one who put those decorations up if he's not going to help take them down at all, even though they should not be taken down at this time. Um so I feel like she's the one putting in all of the work and that she's just Halloweened out at this point and now she's cranky about it.
She straight up
But
said
why
she
isn't
hates Halloween.
yes, but
And
she's
she was
also
complaining all night, as you see throughout the rest of the film. Whenever she pops up, she's like, ugh, the whole time. That's the vibe, is ugh.
right. But she's also clearly type A based on her willingness to set a task and then immediately begin the task. And so I just think she would be like, if her
She's
husband was like, let's do decor, she would be like, ugh, I'm gonna end up doing it all and I'm gonna do a fantastic fucking job because I really commit to things, blah, blah, blah. Like, and that's why she's so Halloweened out, because it's all been against her will, but she has been putting her whole pussy into it regardless. You know what I mean?
Do we think she's a Virgo? Yes.
That's why Chelsea's
Probably.
defending her so
Yes.
vehemently right
I
now.
gotta stick with my brethren. But yeah, I mean, I feel like if he's the Halloween guy, why doesn't he have a better costume? His costume is just like executioner. Like, what's the deal?
I really can't understand. I guess it's not a couple's costume. I guess they're just a couple of people in costumes. I guess not everyone has to think of very elaborate couple costumes every single year for the last 8 years like I have. So
Here's the thing. My love language for fall is couples Halloween costumes, and all I'm looking for is somebody to do couples costumes with me.
well,
Well,
luckily we're
don't date this
gonna
guy
do a
because
group
he
costume.
won't do it. Yeah.
Oh, I would throw an absolute bitch fit if my partner was like, I don't want to do a couple's costume. I'd be like, why are we together then? Why do you hate me? Are you breaking up with me? Is this it? Like, no.
I just frankly cannot fathom that being a scenario. Like they wouldn't be like with me if they didn't know that they're gonna have to dress the fuck up
In
for
whatever
3
you
nights in a
want
row
it to
for
be.
Halloween.
Yeah,
they
'cause
they
Halloween
get
is at least 3 or 4 costumes minimum.
minimum. You
Minimum.
understand. You
Yeah.
understand. Anyway, I thought this was a really fun kill. There's so many good fake outs in it. And a little Easter egg for the end of the movie, right in the very, very beginning. I don't know if it's too early to say. I don't fucking care. But the spooky kids from the bus can be seen in the first 3 minutes of this movie, so that's exciting.
You
But
also see Rhonda walking home. Like, you get like the briefest glimpse of her, not enough to identify her when she pops up later on. But you also see like the silver car full of girlies like
yeah,
stop and then drive away in the middle of the street too. Like, they do that loop really well.
yeah, the timeline of this is all over the place, but it's intentional to confuse you so you can't guess what the fuck's gonna happen next. But like if you swapped it all back around into the right timeline, it would all make sense, I think. I mean, I didn't check. I'm not gonna do that.
I medium checked. I went back to the beginning after I watched it a second time, and like I didn't have the patience to fully watch it on normal speed, so I skipped around a little bit, but I saw what I was looking to see.
Yeah, they did a great job. But I mean, the fake outs like with the arms, so you like really notice the arms falling like hanging from the tree,
Mhm.
so that's going to be important later. And that guy who's just waiting for his friends to pick him up and he's probably drunk as fuck and so he's staring out
Or
into the middle
so
distance.
he's so stoned realistically, and he's just like,
You
what?
know that when you just kind of like enter the void. I was doing
Yes.
that today at a stoplight where I realized I was like lightly touching my bottom teeth and staring at a man at the corner of the road, and he saw me, and I was just like, I'm just gonna keep doing it so it doesn't seem like I noticed him. It was very
Mhm.
upsetting. I've had a middle distance kind of day, so I really relate to that guy at the
Mhm,
beginning of
mhm.
this movie. But that was such a good fake out too. And then right after that, there's like gonna be something with these fucking sheets, right? They're sheets.
Mhm.
They're sheet ghosts. They're gonna fuck you up. There's no other way. And so she like pulls one off really dramatically right after the release of tension with that guy who was staring at her, and there's still nothing there. Like, it's good. They do the good anti jump scare and the good jump scare. But I mean, what an iconic way to get your throat slit.
With a crunched lollipop.
An artfully chomped jack-o'-lantern lollipop.
Mhm. Mhm.
Amazing. It's amazing. It's very trick or treat.
I do think it's fun also that I didn't even realize this until I was reading IMDb trivia, but you don't see a single like death happen on screen, if you will. You see like the inflicting of wounds at points, but you don't see anyone. It's like, okay, with her death, the robot lady, she's under the sheet, so you see like the implied blood splatter on the sheet, and then like you'll see the candy kid like vomiting, but then he like essentially dies off screen. Like, there's not actually, it's they trick you. It's very Sixth Sense, actually. It's a through line where they make you think you're seeing things, but you're not. But also, when you see people get bitten and then they're dead afterwards. Yeah, I know what happened. So
Yeah, no, it like keeps it from being like so gruesome.
mhm.
I mean, we haven't mentioned this yet, but this movie was like never actually released theatrically. It was just immediately sent to video, which I thought was so interesting because it's so ubiquitous. Like you see it everywhere. Like you see Sam everywhere when
Mhm.
it's Halloween time. But it just really had great cult success, even being released straight to video. So much so that I mean, it's getting a theatrical release right now, so they say. Chelsea and I tried to go this week and it was only playing in freaking Chino Hills. But there's also a sequel coming soon, so that's going to be I can't wait for that. I'm sure that they'll do a great job.
I can't wait for the sequel because I want more. We get, how we get like a lot of Christmas movies and we have a lot
Yeah.
of horror movies, but like I want more Halloween
Mhm.
movies, like
And
movies,
not Michael Myers Halloween. We got enough of those.
too many of those, quite frankly, but like more stories that happen around Halloween, maybe like spooky romance slash horror,
Why don't we have
a
more
new
Halloween
genre.
rom-coms? I
Horror rom-coms, horror rom-coms.
Horror rom-com.
Let's write one. Let's write one.
Have you seen Warm Bodies? I think that counts.
It's a zombie movie though, so
I don't like zombie movies.
yeah, I was gonna say, but it's obviously not your typical zombie. Well, I don't know if you know that it's obvious, but I know what happens in it, so
It's a horror rom-com.
yeah, might be worth
Uh,
checking out. I haven't seen, but seems fun.
I liked it. I think I saw it like when it came out. I think you know me.
Yeah. But IMDb trivia was saying that this movie was supposed to be a theatrical release originally, but then it was like Saw 4 was coming out that same October. And so the speculation is that they just didn't want to compete with that. And then I guess like, do you shelve it for a whole year? Do you just like, what do you do? You know what I mean? So I guess they went the DVD sales route instead, and it worked out. I mean, this movie, I'll circle back later at the end of the pod. But it like was pretty well received, obviously.
Oh
Like
yeah,
critics
it's
and
got good
audiences really
scores.
liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, back to this beginning part. I again in that article I was reading about the commentary, it said that they kept the blood that they used for Emma's death boiling like the whole time they were shooting that whole scene, so it would be ready for that moment when like she's finally got her throat slit and she's covered in the sheet and her blood is like steaming. Oh, I loved that.
That's so
Kept
cool.
Oh my God. The quote was, "We kept blood warmed throughout the night. Thank God. Gotta
Thank
keep
God.
a pot of warm blood on."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, the opening is great. And then I really love the comic book credits. And I'll have to go
Yeah.
through like a third time when I have time to be luxurious and really scroll at my leisure and look closely because I'd love to see like what's in there. But I definitely noticed like Rhonda in there, and I noticed like lots of lore connecting to the other bits and pieces. So I'll be very excited to see future Easter eggs as well.
Yeah, apparently that artwork, like all the artwork that you see in that opening sequence is from various members of the team, and they're basically like anyone who like was working on the film who could draw, they had them contribute to the opening title sequence, which is
That's so
really
fun.
cute. I love it. And
But yeah, it
apparently
takes place
there's
in Warren
childhood
Valley,
photos in
Ohio.
there.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah,
IMDb
from the
trivia
cast.
said that. But it introduces that it takes place in Warren Valley, Ohio, on Halloween night. And then I think from that point we cut to the newscaster. And she has a really interesting speech that has a lot of like foreshadowing and stuff in it too, where she talks about like, oh, some people are in costume on the street to hide, and some people are there to stand out, and you've got werewolves and demons and zombies roaming the streets tonight. And then we see all of those, so that's fun.
I love that. And I just love, like, this is a movie that is fun to watch the second time so you can see all the little hints because there are so many fucking werewolf hints.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
so many and it's so awesome. Because it starts out with the girlies all in the costume shop trying on their outfits.
And you've got the check your candy kid like walking by right before we like zoom into the store. The kid dragging his pillowcase.
Charlie.
Yeah,
Oh,
Charlie.
does he have a name?
Yeah.
Yeah, his name's Charlie.
That's nice.
But also the little boy who is in the costume shop who is like peering in at everyone while they're changing.
The perv boy?
That is
peeper.
The little peeper. That is a little boy named Quinn Lord, and he played little pumpkin-headed Sam. He played
I
little
love
Sam.
him.
He's a multi-talented actor. He has a real face. Who knew?
Who knew?
Range. But I can't remember
Oscar.
exactly what they're saying while they're in the oh my god, now I can. Okay, they're like saying all this shit, all the girls, while they're changing into their outfits, and it sounds like they're talking about their like sexual exploits, but like, oh, I think one of the girls said like, yeah, I had this Mexican guy and he made me sick. And then like somebody else is like, yeah, he had a great ass. And it's talking about like things that they ate.
Yeah. My favorite was no, it was when one of them was like, yeah, and so had a girl, and they were like,
I took note.
They all taste the same. Oh, Monica, you'll know this. So Monica, like I, loves Criminal Minds. Yeah, I'm in the middle of rewatching Criminal Minds, and Derek Morgan has like a whole wife / baby mama, right? Her name's like Savannah in the show. That actress is one of the werewolf girls.
Yep. Is that where you knew her from?
That's where you know her from. Oh my god!
Monica looked it up while we were watching.
I looked it up, but I didn't see Criminal Minds in there. Well, also, literally, if I had even seen Criminal Minds on it, that would have meant nothing to me because who hasn't been on Criminal Minds?
Exactly.
There are 14 seasons. There's gonna be more, but it doesn't have Matthew Gray Goobler. I almost said Lillard. God, got my
our other favorite Matthew.
Jesus Christ. So I don't know if I'll be watching. We'll see. But yeah, I was like looking at all of her everything that she's done. She was in White Chicks, and she was also in some movie that was called like A Christmas Tree Grows in Colorado. And I was like, yes, I know her from that. Honestly,
yes.
I would watch it. She's beautiful. I would watch it. Wow, thank you, Sydney. You've
doing the Lord's work over here. You're welcome.
You've healed something in me. But oh my god, I love the girlies aspect of this movie. That's probably my favorite part. Just before we started recording, I went and rewatched the scene for that. We'll get to that later. But
yeah, they have all that like eating chatter, and then when Anna Paquin doesn't want to come out of her dressing room, in which she's getting into her Little Red Riding Hood costume, for the record. Her sister does the whole I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll break the door down. So that's a fun little clue as well.
So good. I love it. But I should have known right away. And Chelsea and I clocked this when we watched it together. I was like, none of these guys are cute. What the fuck is going on? I was so confused. I was like, these are literally the first men that they see. They have just arrived. What is happening? Well, okay, I get it now.
Now what did I say? What did I say? I said maybe they're human sacrifices.
You did say that. Oh my god. Amazing.
And then I thought I was joking. Well, I was not totally sure I was joking, but I didn't predict that they were werewolves. I thought maybe they were witches. But it was still a good guess. But yeah, I love that opening. And then I have mixed feelings on Charlie's next bit. Because I think
the principal?
in terms of, I like the principal, but I don't love the Charlie bits of it. Just because the barf is disgusting. For me, I just don't love the barf. And I also don't love that the only there's some jokes in this movie that I don't love. There's some like
2007.
I don't know. Yeah, like they're like
Yes.
this little fat kid has diabetes and he's disgusting and he's so gross, blah blah blah. Like I didn't like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't like
A lot
the
of
like
they use the
R
R
word
word.
stuff. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And the
Just the
implications
way
of that
they
whole
handled-
story in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way they handled that whole Halloween bus massacre scenario was a little suspect.
Wild.
Mhm. We'll get to
That
that
whole
though.
vignette. But yeah, poor Charlie. It's not good to steal all the candy, but I don't think we should be punished by barfing death. God, and okay, this was what I was trying to figure out. Are all of the candy bars that he's giving out poisoned? If so, does one candy bar kill you? If so, is he trying to kill every single kid in the entire town? Then he's out of a job. Because I thought when I first watched it, that Charlie ate like a bunch of them, and so that's why he died, because he ate like a bunch. But I don't actually see him eat a bunch. I see him eat one.
Yeah, I think there's something definitely all of the candy is sabotaged because the little candy bar that Sam uses later has a razor blade in it and it's from Principal Wilkins. I don't remember the exact provenance of it, but I was trying to track these things in general. And I think the little scare, because right after Charlie gets dragged inside, the quarry prank kids, sorry, I like split my notes into the like different stories sections like as they were coming to try and organize things and track things, because otherwise this movie would be so confusing to me to try and discuss.
Yes.
So the quarry prank kids come and knock on Principal Wilkins' door right afterwards, and then when they walk away, Sam is behind them and gets candy. And that's where he has that candy from later at the old guy's house next door, Mr. Krieg, maybe. But I think something on IMDb trivia said, I did not track this myself, but we see the clowns go to Mr. Krieg's house. And then he like steals their candy. And he eats one at one point and then is like, ew, gross. And then that's what the lollipop stabs later. And then the little demon likes it. So I think that maybe also is poison. And that's why he didn't finish it, because he was like, ew, gross, but he didn't eat enough to like barf death immediately.
I guess
The clown kids are hard to track though, because something was suggesting that the clown kids are the kids in the pit in the backyard, but chronologically, I'm not sure how that would fit and if it would fit.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch it enough times to parse that out.
That was the only thing that seemed wonky to me chronology wise, and I didn't like assume that those were the same clown kids. But that's what IMDb trivia wanted me to believe. So I'm not sure.
I don't know. Well, I just don't understand his whole deal. I guess there's not going to be a way to track all the poison candy like back to him, because kids are going to get
Candy from all over.
Yeah.
all over. But if like everybody's getting sick, I guess also if you have a million candy bars and you inevitably do that thing that I do where I don't get through all of them. I don't go trick-or-treating still, but I just buy a lot of candy and I don't eat all of it. So maybe there's like a % chance that they're not gonna get to that one. But like if every child dies, I don't know. And also
Mhm.
he's just like cutting off fingers and giving them to dogs. And like that's evidence, baby. I don't know. He obviously hasn't watched Criminal Minds, so he doesn't know
Clearly.
what to do. There's
Clearly.
blood vomit everywhere. That's clean up your crime scene. I don't know.
I think he
Seems
thought
like an
the
amateur, but
neighbor's
then he
dog
also
would eat it.
doesn't seem like an amateur because he does this a lot, it seems.
Maybe being a school principal is a really good cover.
He does look super normie
Yeah,
also.
because he's literally a serial killer.
Straight
Uh-huh.
up. And his MO is all over. His like not MO. His demographic of kills is all over the place.
Were there 2 different kids that he was trying to bury?
Yeah,
there was
two.
one kid already in the pit who was the clown. and then maybe there were other clown kids in there too, which IMDb kind of wanted me to think, but I didn't
Looked
get a
like
good
there
enough
were
look.
only
It seemed
two
like one
bodies
to
in
me.
there.
Yeah, I agree. And then he threw Charlie's body in there. And obviously not Charlie's entire body. So some time did pass between dragging Charlie inside and whatever's happening in the backyard afterwards. Because Charlie's head gets cut off to be jack-o'-lantern.
Yes, with his son, a great father-child
Great
bonding
bonding
experience.
yeah. But also, yeah, it's the clown kid who is like coming back alive during that scene with Brian Cox, Scream King.
Apparently he was wearing that wig and prosthetics to look like John Carpenter of Halloween, etc. fame. But I don't know what John Carpenter looks like, so it's a little lost on me.
Whatever that's mean. Whatever it is, it's mean. He was wearing some weird fake nose thing that I was like very obviously fake. I liked it a lot though. But yeah, I mean, God, that actor, what's his name? The principal, he is really good at being a fucking freak. Dylan Baker.
They make him
He's-
do it literally all the time, and he smashes it every single time.
Well, he's got that look.
Absolutely
He's
crushes
got a
it.
look where he's like just looks normal enough where you're like, yeah, he's not gonna kill me. But then you look at him and you're like, wait, there's something up.
He's
Is
definitely
gonna
gonna
kill
kill me.
me.
Yeah.
There's something up.
He's
And his
really
eyes are
good.
too blue.
He's super fun in
Right.
The Good Wife. And I think he might be in The Good Fight occasionally too, as Colin Sweeney, who's a fun character for sure.
Well, he slays in this, and they do a great job of misdirection. Also, like he killed his wife, right? He must have.
Probably.
My guess is yes.
He had to have killed his wife.
But I also feel like she just like went missing or got killed by somebody else. He's not looking for her. You know what I mean? He's like, anyway, he just moves on.
Oh yeah. He did a good job. He's good at covering these things up. I guess the Ohio Police Department's not really doing it. But yeah, I mean, just it was a great misdirection with the little boy with his son because his son was really annoying, and so I was like, he's def gonna kill him. But he's just teaching him the ways. That's so nice. We love to see that. How lovely. What are they gonna do to the head?
They're
They're
carving
carving it
it
like a
like a
jack-o'-lantern.
jack-o'-lantern.
It's gonna look bad.
It is gonna look bad.
It's gonna look
You
bad.
gotta
be a good
scoop out all
one.
the insides. It's a long process.
They literally
Um,
had the scooper. Did you see that? The scooper was on the table. They gotta scoop out his brains.
I did think it was cute, question mark, though. Because when he's talking to Charlie on the steps earlier and he's like, oh, smashing pumpkins, stealing candy. I was just like you when I was your age until my father put me on the right path to participate in Halloween traditions and respect the dead. And you think he's gonna murder his son, but then he's just like, no, I'm carrying on this father-son tradition of etc. etc. So it is actually really beautiful.
That is so true. And thank you for pointing that out.
I love
Tradition is
that.
so important.
How come the clown kid's head didn't get chopped off to be a jack-o'-lantern though? Like, how are you gonna put two bodies in your backyard but only make one jack-o'-lantern? Actually, I've solved this question myself because I think he promised his son that they would do a jack-o'-lantern, and I think the tradition is important to him, but also, as he said, he's got a date, he's got places to be, he's got murders to do. He doesn't have time for two jack-o'-lanterns. He's like, we're doing the bare minimum so I can get out the door because my kid's annoying.
Understandable.
I do like when he makes fun of his kid. Daddy, I want to carve the pumpkin. Daddy, I want to go to the parade. I was like, okay, he is going to murder him, but then he doesn't. It's sweet.
It's so sweet.
Sometimes you just need to bitch about your kid. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. I feel like I'd talk a lot of shit if I had a kid. That's why I'm not
Mhm.
ready. But anyway,
I
think
can't
that-
wait to talk shit about my kid. Can you imagine the group chats we're gonna have one day where you're like, oh, you're never gonna guess this dumb thing, blah 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 did.
I mean, I'll be
Permission
curious to
speak freely
see.
about your kid.
Yeah, I'll be
Your
curious
kid
to
was
see
really
who
fucking pissing me off today.
who shit talks your kid and who shit talks you to defend your kid. Because there's going to be some aunties in there who are like, "Fuck you, that's my nephew or niece," or what do we say? I don't like nibbling. We need to come up with something better than that.
Nibbling makes me feel unsafe. It sounds like you're gonna eat them.
Yeah,
Which I don't
but
like.
I'm not
call it
into
a
any of those things
niblet.
also. So
That sounds more like you're gonna eat them, and I don't like thinking about Miley Cyrus all the
a
time. So don't bring it
niblet.
up. But okay, I really like the vampire part of this, and I think I might be skipping something. Did I skip something?
yeah, because then we go back to the quarry prank kids and they go to that sexy Halloween
Oh,
party house where the hot dog who is Coach Taylor in a hot dog costume, quote, butt fucking a pig. And Mrs. Henderson answers the door in her sexy cat costume and she's drunk and she's being very inappropriate with these children.
Which is hilarious.
I love Mrs. Henderson.
Yeah, she rules.
Mrs. Henderson is just having like the type of Halloween party that I have. Come to my
Exactly.
Halloween party for a hot dog butt fucking a guy in a pig costume. No, it's not an orgy, but it gets close.
So close.
I would love to have a hot dog come to our party this year. I don't think it'll happen.
I do think it's interesting that we have a principal in this movie and the gym teacher in this movie. And I wonder if Mrs. Henderson is also a faculty member or just somebody's mommy.
She's everybody's mom.
Or just a hot lady on the
neighbor.
block. Yeah, who knows?
I loved her outfit. It was sexy. She's like, "You want a drink, honey?" Those kids are like,
she's not gonna tell. Yeah,
8. Like they're like 10. I have this
Macy's
thing-
probably like 13.
I cannot tell how old kids are. So I'm not around them enough to know. I don't know. The little
Yeah.
one looked really young, but who knows?
They're of varying ages, I assume. But yeah, that's where we get our Rhonda introduction as well, because they show up to her house and she's got all of those gorgeous jack-o'-lanterns everywhere.
She is a bit.
I have never wanted to decorate my house in more jack-o'-lanterns than I have after this movie, but then also realized that like pumpkins are like $6 each.
And
Well,
also, it
also,
would be
you'd
so
have
much work.
You'd have to do all of that like on Halloween day because they rot in one fucking day.
Yeah.
I spent hours making a spooky Tuesday pumpkin when we launched this fucking show 2 years ago, and it was done in a day and a half. I
'Cause
swear
the
to God. And
squirrel
then
ate
also
it.
the fucking squirrels came and they wrecked it. I was like, how dare you? You gotta like spray it in something to keep it, and then that's probably bad for animals. And so then I guess don't do that. And you just have to wake up at 4 a.m. on Halloween morning and carve all day. Then you'll be
Here's my
too
thing.
tired to party.
Rhonda's a witch, and therefore she can
You're
just
right.
whip that shit up so fast.
I also
Right,
think
fair.
jack-o'-lantern carving is probably one of her special interests. So I think that she's got some good focus when it comes to such a task. She probably whipped through them all fairly quickly compared to
They
however long it would take somebody else to do it at least.
They looked really fucking good. This whole movie just made me feel like I need to step up my shit as far as Halloween decor. I did.
Yeah, because when Anna Paquin's walking down that path lit by the jack-o'-lanterns, you really liked that too.
Oh yeah, I was like, where is my leaf-strewn pathway lit only by jack-o'-lanterns? Why don't I have that? I could make it, I guess. But also I did buy a human-sized skeleton this year that is opposable. It is not the 12-foot skeleton. I don't have the
My
storage
dream.
space for that. And Sydney has to have it first, or she'll come and steal mine and then kill me. Or the
will.
other way around, not sure. So this is my first foray into large things on my front lawn, but I've been too scared to put it out because I live next to a school and I think that the kids are gonna steal it.
The youth.
The youths are gonna steal my guy. I have to name him also, so if you have any ideas, DM us.
Frederick.
Stanley.
Stuttering Stanley.
Oh no.
Sap. Sad.
So sad.
Yeah, but the vampire thing is after the Corey kids. After they
Oh,
pick up Rhonda, then we get the vampire thing, which I
hot.
hate that for yeah. Oh yes, the beginning
It
is
was
very hot, but the
Wait,
fact
no.
that
We have to talk about the core kids.
well, it loops back around. That part of the Quarry Kids story, they've only just like grabbed Rhonda and they're on their way to the quarry.
Okay.
And
What's
then
the kid's-
vampire
What's the
guy.
boy's name? Is his name Schrader?
Mhm.
Schrader.
They've got a Chip and a Schrader.
Schrader.
They both are fraternity brothers at their young age.
Chip,
Schrader.
Cheetah. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah. So moving forward, listeners, only call Chelsea Chi Dog.
Don't do
That's her
that.
name. Don't wear it out.
It felt so bad to say.
It's for
bad
special
to
occasions
say.
only. Only use it when appropriate, when the vibes are right.
I'm
The
never
vibes
gonna
are
use
always
it.
right for Cheetah, baby.
After the vampire killer, we're back to the Quarry Kids, and that's the part that you wanted to talk about, Sydney, because
Okay.
But I
it is
didn't get to talk
one
about
of
the
the best
vampire
parts.
killer enough.
Oh, sorry. Then let's
Yes,
go back to the vampire
Because
killer.
here's the thing. The vampire killer is very sexy and I would like that.
Do you
To
think,
die?
like,
No,
like
but I do like biting, so that's fun.
how I feel like I would like immediately know if my skin was being broken.
She is pretty wasted, I think is the implication.
But maybe she just like likes pain.
And if you're so horny, maybe you wouldn't, you're like, oh yeah, this feels good. And then you're like, why am I covered in blood?
That was
It
like a hot,
happens.
sexy reveal though, too. I was like, wow, there's a real vampire. And he's like got beautiful eyes. And it did not occur to me at all. Like, I don't know if I was supposed to know that it was the principal.
I don't
We
think
weren't.
so.
Who
We
is
weren't.
this? And then when it was the principal, I was upset that I had been so into him earlier. Even
I
when he
know.
was killing that hot girl.
Then
Oh,
it
she
became
was
so
beautiful.
unsexy once we knew it was
What's-
him.
Yeah, I mean,
know.
but what's fucked up about it though is that he's not even a real vampire. He's just having a spooky, silly murderer.
He's just in
Well,
a
he
silly,
just
goofy
got,
mood.
I'm about to buy vampire teeth for one of my Halloween costumes. Should I
Same.
get the kind that can break human skin?
Yeah, I
So
think you
just in
should
case
check
I
on
need to
Adam.
defend myself.
Uh-huh. See if you can really sink your teeth into him.
Okay, yeah, I'll check. That's okay, but if you just saw, well, I don't know if it's in the podcast or not, but I just drew my own blood from my own teeth trying to drink a water bottle. So if I had serrated knife fangs in my mouth, I wouldn't have lips by the end of the night. It would not work out for me. It would not be hot. But anyway, he's got practice, I guess. As
Yeah, I do
serial
like
killer.
that in that moment she goes up to the robot and the executioner husband for help, and it like does not work. They just kind of like shake her off because she's standing right next to a bunch of people outside of a bar who have like fake wounds and blood dripping off of them. And then he disguises her body by just like putting her on the ground next to the other drunk people on the ground.
It just sucks that she's literally in the middle of the whole crowd when he gets her again.
Yeah.
And it like doesn't matter at all. Like, oh my God. I would like to think I would be like, I would like to think I have a critical eye when it comes to blood versus fake blood. But when have I had a lot of experience with real blood?
Who knows?
Thankfully. I would like to think I would have saved her, but pour one out. Pour one out for that beautiful, beautiful girl.
But then we see Emma and Henry, her husband, because she like runs into them and was like, help me. And Emma's like, ew. And the husband's
And
like,
she
she's
still
just
sucks.
drunk. Like,
They just
it's
suck
fine.
extra. See? They suck. There's no defending them, Chelsea.
I'm not defending that part. Although you yourself were not even confident that you would for sure be able to help somebody on the street. There's so much to track. There's so much going on. Who can say?
You suck.
Anyway, back to the Quarry Kids. Back to the Quarry Kids. Because I mean, Macy is like a little bitch, and fuck Macy. But I do love that, even though it's obviously revealed throughout their little story that they like set up this whole thing from the beginning, that they like targeted Rhonda and picked her specifically. Her friend is still jumping her lines and trying to tell the school bus story before Macy can do her whole scene setting with the school bus story, because I just really relate to both of them in that moment.
Oh
Because
my God.
look, we talk over each other here sometimes. Sometimes we go, shut up. I am trying to do a little bit right now.
This is
I
my
relate to
bet.
it. I
Nothing is
planned a
sexier
whole
than
little bit,
committing to the
and you're
bit.
not letting me do it. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, my interpretation of that was different. I was like, wow, they even planned to interrupt each other so it would seem more realistic. They're psychopaths.
And different, interesting take. Very compelling as well.
It could go either way. It could go either way.
But yeah, I mean, I think this bit is fucked up in a lot of ways. That I would like to hear what autistic people think about it, and people with intellectual disabilities, if they have any thoughts. But I don't. I mean, the kids on the bus were played by real kids with intellectual disabilities, and apparently they had a great time filming. So I do think that that is good and fun. And I like when those sorts of characters are played by actors who can actually represent those roles. But the concept that they have these autistic kids that their parents were gonna murder, and that they played a prank on an autistic girl because they took her to the autistic kid murder site is like a little grim to me personally.
What?
Honestly,
Yeah.
horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, as somebody who
just-
has a special needs brother, this was wiggity whack.
Yeah.
Super whack. Also, like, I mean, we'll get it. Well, actually, here, I'll get into it now. There are like there's like a ethos to I don't know if I'm using that word right. It's been a long time since high school. But there's like a rhyme and reason to like some of this movie. There are like some rules for Halloween that you need to follow.
Mhm.
And like there's quite a few of them. Let me pull them up. Sorry, pause. Rules. I have them all written down.
I have some notes on what I think you're gonna bring up. But I
Okay,
don't want to
unpause.
say anything before you get a chance to say it.
Okay, unpause. So there are some rules that Sam, the little guy who will learn more about him later, has for Halloween, and they are as follow. 1, always wear a costume. 2, always hand out candy. 3, never blow out a jack-o'-lantern before midnight. 4, always check your candy. 5, never take your decorations down before November 1st. 6, and this is the one that is important right now, never hurt the innocent. And 7, also important right now, respect the dead. I think these are great rules. I love them. I will never, ever break any of them now that I know that the consequences are so high. But I wouldn't
Interesting.
anyway.
Will you keep those rules handy? Because I want to circle back to them later
Yeah,
on.
I have them right here in my notes. But
also, where did we get them? I like clocked a couple of them in the movie, but are they all in the movie? Do they all make it in, or is that from like the original short where that character is from?
I watched the original short, and it is very cute, and there are no words in it.
Oh.
So it is linked in the references. You should definitely watch it. This whole movie is based off of a short film that the director Michael Dougherty did, and it is a really cute animation. And if you think that Sam, the little guy, is cute now, you should see how cute he was as a little drawing. Very cute, I'll tell you that. Sorry, I just got a text from Maria asking me if I want to take tennis lessons with her on the weekends moving forward, and I was so shocked that I got distracted. I might do it. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, I love the lore of this, and I guess we could talk about it, Sam in general now. Throughout all of these scenes that we've gone through so far, not every single one, but he is like a specter in the back of most of them, or he comes to be. Especially in this part right now that we're talking about, they even do actually this is a good time to talk about it because this is the first one where you see him out of time. So there's a flashback in this part of the movie where you see all these children on the Halloween massacre bus in awesome costumes, just saying, very spooky vintage looking
Yeah, the
costumes. They were-
vintage Halloween costumes are
those were so
creepy.
sick.
Those were allegedly based off that real costumes that real kids with similar disabilities had made for themselves for Halloween. So that's cute too.
That's awesome. I love that. But yeah, in that flashback, the bus is like going down the road. And Chelsea and I both said this. There's a point where the like bus is like, and the bus took a wrong turn and went a different way, and they're like going all like on this different path. And I was just like, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, when like the bus driver is Robert Englund and drives them into the desert that turns into a scary cliff. So very similar. But you see little Sam, the little, what is that called? What is on his head?
The
Burlap
burlap
sack.
sack.
Thank you. I couldn't think of the word.
He's like a
burlap.
little scarecrow.
He's like a little scarecrow boy. You see a little scarecrow boy like on the side of the road back in the olden times. So you're like, okay, what's going on here? So what he is the spirit of Samhain, which is Halloween. And we get that great description of what Samhain is from our girl,
Rhonda.
Rhonda.
I do have a question. If his name is SAM after SAMHAIN, which is pronounced Sawin, is his name Saw?
No, his name's Sam.
No, it's Sam.
It's like a play on words. It's not a play on words. It's just like, Samhain spelled crazy. You'd never expect it to that would be how you say it unless you like were told by Sydney, which is how I learned. And so like it's just like, his name is Sam.
Interesting.
It's just like a little
Interesting.
thing. I mean, that's how you spell it. Samhain. That's what I was saying for a while, and then I was slapped in the face and told right, and I was like, okay, thank God. But yeah, he is the spirit of Halloween. He is this like ever-present like specter who like has these rules of what you do on Halloween, and if people violate them, they get got. And it's funny because some of the rules are very important, like respect the dead and never hurt the innocent. And then other ones are always hand out candy. Like there's range in the severity. But he knows what he likes and he likes what he knows. And so we respect him.
Actually, should we just talk about the rules now then while we're on the subject, even though it's going to say some of the kills that we haven't gotten to yet?
Sure, whatever we want. Yeah.
Let's do it because we're already a good chunk of time in, and so I don't want to forget and then later have it be too late. But I definitely clocked the like don't blow out the jack-o'-lantern rule and how people will get got because a couple different people smash jack-o'-lanterns. And so I was wondering, did everyone who smashed a pumpkin get got? The answer is yes. And by the way, those people are Emma, the robot from the beginning,
Yep.
Charlie, the check your candy kid, and the bus driver who shoots the jack-o'-lantern. My next question was, did only people who smash pumpkins get got? The answer is no, but now that I know that there are other rules, I want to check them against the murders. And so, okay, the body count is Emma the robot, and so she smashed the jack-o'-lantern and was taking down decorations. So that's at least 2 rules.
Yeah, she blew him out, and she also took off her costume.
Okay. Charlie, the check your candy kid, he didn't check his candy, and he was smashing jack-o'-lanterns. We have the clown kids who died. I'm not sure that we can really speculate what rules they may or may not have broken.
Who are the clown kids?
There
I
are
am
3
so
clown
lost.
kids that go to Mr. What's his name again? Krieg's door.
When did
And then
he
there's
die?
the clown kid in the grave. I'm talking
Yeah,
about the
but they
clown kid
don't
in the
die.
grave.
Clown kid in the grave.
Clown
Well,
kid
this
in
is
the
the
grave.
confusion that we were talking about earlier. Is like, is there supposed to be a link there or not? I don't know. But anyway, we don't see whatever that kid's
It's just a singular clown
crime
kid.
was with the rule. But I we can probably speculate. The vampire girl who got bitten, I don't know if we know about her breaking any rules. Did it, like,
She was
looking at the
just
rules?
so horny.
Well, no, I don't think so. I think that her death is what part of what the principal's crime is. I don't think that everyone who dies is breaking a rule. I think that everyone that
Okay.
Sam kills is
Uh-huh.
breaking a rule.
That's
But I
interesting to
think
me.
that the vampire victim girl dies because she is a victim of this guy and he's a serial killer, you know?
Right, because my next conclusion was, if it's not true that everybody who dies broke a rule, is it the case that everybody who died by supernatural means broke a rule and that everyone else who died just got like regular people murdered? But I don't know if the principal broke any rules. And he didn't get killed by like the
He broke
Sam
rules
or one
'cause
of the
he killed-
demons, but
He killed the
oh,
innocent.
innocence. Okay, yeah, and
Yeah.
then he gets eaten by werewolves, so that tracks because werewolves supernatural.
Yeah.
Okay, I am satisfied with the rules and with their logic within the universe.
Yeah, also, not only do the quarry kids, which I like calling them,
Mhm.
not only do they hurt the innocent, which is Rhonda, they also disrespect the dead because they
That's
make
the
a
one I was
joke out of
thinking of.
them.
Mhm.
And they also blow out jack-o'-lanterns before midnight. And that's what really seals the deal. They brought those 8 jack-o'-lanterns down for each of the 8 kids who died.
I thought they were doing a
blow-
nice vigil for a moment there. I believed them.
Nah, middle school girls are bitches.
Macy betrayed me.
I like just can't imagine wasting my whole fucking Halloween just to make some sweet little bitch sad. How
Here's
fucked
the thing.
are you? Oh my god.
As
Could be
a
doing-
self-proclaimed bully, this was going like way too much. Like, I am a lazy bully. Like, I would never be this
Just
elaborate
say
in my
something
bullying.
devastating.
Yeah.
Well, what's super interesting is on IMDb trivia, it said that there was an earlier draft of the script that did like a different version of the Halloween prank, in which the victim was not a young autistic girl, but was a teenager who was a prankster to his girlfriend. And his girlfriend and the kids that she babysits were the ones playing the prank on him. So it felt sort of like karmically just to a degree. And the whole school bus kids thing was not part of that either. They had like a different thing where they were going to be like raising the dead in a cemetery. They were going to pretend to be raising the dead in a cemetery as the prank. But then the reveal was going to be like that they actually raised the dead. And so it wasn't even going to loop back into the Mr. Krieg stuff. That was just going to be some guy, I guess. But then whoever put this on IMDb, because again, nobody sources shit on there. But they speculated that it was just like too CGI heavy or like too many special effects were needed. It was just like not friendly to film, essentially. And that's why they like decided to go back to the drawing board and swap it out.
I just like, why did they have to bring disabilities
Rhonda.
into it? We just like
Yeah.
at all. It could have just
Yeah.
been a crazy guy who is killing a bunch of kids. We already have a guy who's killing a bunch of kids. So we were like, oh, there's another guy who's killing a bunch of kids. That it could have just been some kids.
That's how they do get their revenge. And that's great, at least.
I know. And they looked cool doing it. So that's good.
Mhm.
And I mean, I'm glad it was at a quarry. That was so cool when they're coming down the elevator.
elevator,
and they see the
what a
lights
great
go
shot.
out of each of the things in the mist. Oh my god!
I liked seeing the smashed school bus at the bottom. Although, frankly, I mean, who knows how accurate the flashback that we saw was, whether it was to the reality. But if it is, the fact that it sank in that vision and then we saw it sticking out of the water raises some alarming points about the drought in this area and the water levels. But that's just my California perspective peeking through. But I just thought it was really spooky, really good overall. I liked when Rhonda goes back up. The vision of her holding her jack-o'-lantern as the elevator rises is like so flawless. I loved it so much.
So good. And I love that it's just like a classic revenge tale then. She's like, nah, bitches, die.
Mm-hmm. As
Like,
she
get it,
deserves to.
get it,
She's like,
girl.
"No,
They
thank
almost
you."
killed you. Cause she could have died. I thought she died
Yeah.
for a second when she hit her head when she fell.
And she smashes her glasses, but if you try to get LASIK and not have glasses, we know how that turns out. You just can't win if you have bad vision in horror movies.
It's really not fair. Either your eye pops out or your glasses fall on the ground and you're Velmaing it all over town.
Or your eye could get carved as a jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
Billy doesn't know how to do the eyes.
He doesn't know how to do the eyes.
One honorary mention, Chip, incredible acting with those fake guts.
Ooh, and when he's in the elevator being like before, when Rhonda goes out, and Rhonda's so sweet. She's like, hold on to this jack-o'-lantern. It'll protect you. She's a good girl.
Perfect.
And these other children, trash.
Rhonda is
Thank
perfect.
God they're dead.
Thank God. I like that afterwards, when she gets out of the elevator, she clocks Sam, the little scarecrow boy, and he clocks her, and then they both are just like, anyway, and they go about their days.
Exactly. Sam's like, fair. You know, you didn't break any of my rules. Okay, you didn't break any of my rules, and you kept the lantern lit. 10 out of 10. No notes.
I will say Sam's inclusion in the flashback, while I appreciate it now that I know what's going on, and I think it's a great way to establish that even on past Halloweens, Sam has been around, and that Sam is eternal, etc., etc. I did think that Sam was a kid waiting for the bus who just didn't get picked up for some reason because their parents didn't buy into the murder scheme, and that confused me for a while.
I didn't think that, but also I was like, what the fuck's going on? I don't know. I was just like, he's all over the place. Look at him go. I mean, they're never like, and this is Sam, the spirit of Samhain, you know?
Yeah.
So, like,
yeah,
I found
yeah.
that out because I read like 6 articles, and that's how I found out.
Okay. Before we move
anyway.
on from the Query Kids, though, there is like a quick werewolf girl scene in between those two scenes that I just don't want to gloss over, because that's the scene where she sees someone who is maybe being Xena from behind and is like, ooh, sexy man for the ritual. And then it's a sexy lady. Actually, guess what? Gay.
A sexy buff as hell lady. And
yeah.
you watch Anna Paquin, like her whole world collapse because she realizes that she's bi in that moment. You see it on her face. She's like, oh my God, I've been attracted to a woman. I didn't expect this. I already have to kill someone later tonight. There's a lot going on. And she's really going through it that night. Really. Poor thing. She'll figure it out on this National Coming Out Day. That's the day that we are recording. Sorry. Spoil. Now you know the truth. That's very, thank God you pointed that out, Chelsea, because that was one of my all-time favorite parts of the whole movie. But next is
it's Werewolf Girls again, yeah, and that's where the pumpkin lip hack comes in.
Oh my God!
And they also say at that point, they have lots of fun jokes at that point. The older sister calls Anna Paquin the runt of the litter. Colin Sweeney, or the Principal Wilkins, whatever his name is, when he's in his little vampire serial killer getup, he does the whole "my what big eyes you have, Little Red Riding Hood" thing to her, even though that's really more about grandma. But he doesn't know his lore that well, I guess. You get Anna Paquin coming through all sexy all of a sudden. Her hair is like let down and she's lost her cape. So she's like showing off her décolletage.
Well, that's because she fought Vampire Man.
Yeah, she wrapped him in it and threw him into
she
the
fucking
clearing.
Yeeted that motherfucker.
She yeeted
as
him.
she should. He sucks. And he got a compound fracture, and that made me feel physically ill. So that's another thing. Needles, compound fractures, and apparently excessive vomiting are some of my film triggers.
Mhm. But fun fact, the hot dog, presumably the same hot dog from Mrs. Henderson's party, was there at that scene in the
Oh,
woods,
no.
or I mean, arguably a second hot dog, but I think it's the same hot dog.
Gotta be the same hot dog.
And the big baby guy, who the older sister, Miss Cinderella, brought for Anna Paquin should she need someone, should she not be able to bring her own human sacrifice. That guy also played the great baby in 13 Ghosts.
Oh.
No way.
That's what IMDb trivia said. Who am I to question it?
We love a man who knows how to be a baby.
He said, look, is it hard to be typecast? Sometimes, but when you've got the big baby energy, you seize those roles where you can.
We love a good big baby energy, though.
He knows what he is, and he knows that it's a big baby. It's good. It's great. Confident. That is preposterous to me that is true, but I believe you. But this is just literally the very best scene. This is the best reveal for me that I have seen in so long. It was very sexy. I was having
It
a
was
great
so
time being a
sexy.
bisexual woman. It was incredibly sexy.
Incredible.
Incredibly sexy. Everybody takes off their top. There's a hot, sexy song. There's corsets, and there's practical effects. Thank
Mhm.
God.
There's titties out, and then skin comes off.
I love that. I love
Oh,
that.
yeah. That was a great visual.
That was.
I
a
love
great
that they were like,
visual.
we're being so titillating. You thought, and then they get all muscly and disgusting and turn into very cursed-esque werewolves. I thought there were some real visual similarities between this and the 2005 film Cursed. Apparently, they use the same company as some other werewolf thing. I want to say Van Helsing, but that can't be right, because are there werewolves in that? All the werewolves in this film were created by Totopoulos Studios. That's a guess, pronunciation-wise. The same studio that brought you the Lycans and the Underworld trilogy.
Oh,
I don't really know what that's
I
about, but
started
maybe other people
watching
do.
the Underworld movies, and it was
Uh-huh.
too blue, and so I turned it off.
Like a little sad, or like the color
No,
scheme?
it's literally
color.
blue. You think that
Mm.
Catherine Hardwicke made it blue? No. Underworld is the bluest of them all, okay?
Wow.
I'm blue.
That's not to talk shit on Underworld. Everyone was so hot, but I just it wasn't the vibe,
Sure.
okay? It wasn't
Yeah,
the vibe.
yeah,
I
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
it was me. It was me. It wasn't the movie.
Mhm.
But I love the visual of them taking off their clothes. It's like a strip tease. But then they're stripping, especially the part where the girl was wearing a go-go boot and she sloughs off her whole leg.
Ugh.
Oh, it was fucked up. It was hot and I was scared all at one time. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I didn't see it coming at all. It's so obvious now watching it one half more of a time.
Yeah.
But oh my God, it blew my mind. I was hot, sexy werewolves. And the vampire is fake. The vampire fake out is good too. You're
Yeah.
that's gonna be the thing. No, not even
He
witches.
just
They're
gets
a whole bunch of women around a fire in the middle of a forest. What are you thinking about? You're thinking about the witch when they lifted in the sky.
Yeah.
But it's not.
I was thinking vampire, honestly, because he was a vampire, and so she could be like,
Mm.
"Oh, joke's on you! I'm actually a vampire."
Well, she's the vampire's
she
natural
looked
enemy.
super
Yeah.
vampy too. With the off the shoulder shirt and the corset, and the tousled hair.
Very sexy tousled hair. How can I get my hair like that?
What I think is really fun though, is just the way they weave things through one scene to the next, because there have been so many werewolf hints throughout. Like at one point with the Quarry kids, after they cut back from the Xena moment, Macy or somebody, one of the girls hears werewolves howling and is like, werewolves, right away. And then when it cuts to the Mr. Krieg, the bus driver guy, after the werewolf reveal, he's channel flipping, and one of them is sexy animated werewolf ladies on one of the channels.
Yeah, that was
I
like
just think they
Scooby-Doo
have
or
so
something.
much fun.
Also, it showed House on Haunted Hill, the exact moment
Yeah.
where the werewolf hand comes and grabs them. And so that's all. And then also, this is a weird thing. Right after that, they show like the news segment and those two clips, and then there's a clip of someone talking about the history of trick or treating and the candy, and that's James Marsden's voice.
I love him. I think he's great.
Why?
Perfect.
I don't care why. Thank you. Good. It doesn't make any sense, but it's perfect.
Somebody was buddies with him. Somebody said, "Hey, pal, do you want to do something a little fun and spooky?" And he said
You
yes
wanna do
because he's a down
something?
bitch.
Also, apparently in this commentary that I need to just listen to, that Doherty made sure that he was doing it with practical effects with just a little bit of CGI enhancements, because he knows that fully CG transformations are hot garbage. So we love a man who understands.
He gets it. He knows.
Quite frankly, he gets it. But yeah, on to more practical effects. We're finally to our final story now, right? With our boy Brian Cox. And his practical effects is that wig and the nose, as we discussed earlier.
It's a look.
But
It's a choice.
yeah, I mean, I thought that this like conclusion was like a really awesome way to tie up the whole thing. And we finally got to see our little boy Sam shine in his full spooky glory. But back to the rules, some of the issues that or rules that Brian Cox's character is breaking. What is his name? I should
Well, he
know.
also hurt innocence. Mr. Krieg.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he hurt innocence back in the day, as is
Mhm.
revealed at the end of the movie that he was the bus driver, but we don't know that at first. And we already
What a
see Sam
great
attacking
reveal,
him.
though.
Such a great reveal. But we already
Monica
know
did
that
a really good guess right before it was revealed. Monica picked it up.
Thank you. Yeah, I did. I was like, I figured it out, but I'm not gonna say. But yeah, he broke the rules before though, because one, he was a curmudgeon. He wasn't giving out candy on Halloween. He was scaring those innocent trick-or-treaters who came.
He just stole their candy. He stole
yeah, he's
it.
a stealer.
He's not only not giving candy, he's taking it.
Exactly. So he's broken two of the cardinal rules here. And also, something that I thought was so fucking funny was that they could not have real candy brands in this movie at all, because this is a quote: all of our candy in this film is either poisoned or filled with razor blades. So they had to come up with their own instead. And so Doherty is quoted saying, which was kind of fun because we came up with stuff like Big Fudge Log.
Great
So
name.
like, I wish I could zoom in on the candy and see the stupid shit that they came up with. But yeah, they were all off-brand. I mean, that makes sense. That would be
I think they named
bad
a lot of them
marketing.
after like crew members and stuff though too. So I don't know how many fun ones there are and how many that are just like people's last names.
Either way. I'm
Either
glad
way,
they
I
got
mean,
to
I
do
like
that.
that for them.
That's
But
very
Big Fudge
fun.
Log, what that's a winning invention right there.
That's
It does
amazing.
sound kind of like a poop though.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going for.
They nailed it then.
They killed it. But okay, so that chocolate bar that Mr. Krieg is eating had a razor blade in it? Is that what you were saying?
No, the chocolate bar that he's eating, he only takes a little bite of, and then
I
he
think
kind
he
of makes
thinks
like
it
a
tastes
grossed out
bad.
face. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think that one is poisoned.
Yeah, I agree.
The chocolate that Sam has under the bed has a razor blade in it from when Sam was trick-or-treating at Principal Wilkins' house behind the quarry kids.
Oh. I misunderstood you when you made comments about that before, and I was like trying to pause and like zoom
It's
in
so
on the
hard to
candy
track
bar that Mr.
everything.
Krieg. I was like, where is this razor blade one? I thought he just had an X-Acto knife, but of course it's spookier than that. My
Mhm.
bad. That's on me. But I just think this whole like series of of events is great, and it was really cool to see the other side of the principal
The fence
scene from
confrontation.
earlier.
Yeah.
That was really cool that you got to see both sides of it. Um and
And it like placed the timeline back in because they had like the little comic like earlier like
Yeah.
notation, but it
Uh-huh.
like placed where it was. And it was helpful to me because when we saw that scene from the other perspective in the beginning, I thought it was an old lady in the window that we saw. Like Brian Cox had a wife and then he murdered her. And I was very confused. And then it really cleared things up. You didn't even know that I was confused because I'm just stupid.
Well, you said something about the old lady, and I was like, what the fuck is she talking about? But I was just like, maybe I missed something. I don't know.
because you kept hearing his heavy breathing, and I assumed it was like his bedridden wife upstairs or something. And it turns out that one was on me.
Yeah, he's just got
They didn't trick
emphysema.
me. I was just dumb.
No, it's just confusing. But I loved the spooky trick or treat blood scrawl over the walls. We love that. We love to see spooky writing on the walls. Very fun.
Oh, the pumpkin on the like on fire. Incredible.
Mhm.
The what on fire?
Pumpkin.
Oh, yeah, that was sick. Also, apparently, they shot a scene showing that the dog was actually still alive. And so I would take that to mean that the dog is still alive.
Yeah,
but they
I
decided to
refuse
leave
to
the scene
acknowledge a
out to
dead
make you
dog.
feel scary.
Yeah.
Scaried. Yes, as they say.
I agree though. If the dog is not canonically dead on screen, then the dog is alive to me. It doesn't matter what you think the implications are. I have decided. And that dog's name is maybe Spite, which I think that's what the subtitles were saying, which I think is a great name for that guy to give his dog. And also kind of funny if you're expecting it to be Spike, like a very stereotypical dog name. And then they're just like doing a little something silly.
I love that.
But
that's awesome.
I don't know if you could tell just watching the film without subtitles. So,
oh man. Also, just like how brilliant to trip him with all the little candy pieces and just shattered glass and razor blades. That was so fucked up. Oh my god. And he couldn't even open the door because his fingers were so. Oh my god. See, okay, like that's the type of shit. It was scary to me. I wasn't like screaming, but I was unsettled deeply. How about that?
Yeah. And I liked that there was the little robot disembodied hand in his bed as just like a spooky fake out when we're going to have the disembodied real hand just a few minutes later.
Foreshadowing.
But
oh my god, what did I expect to be under the mask? What did I expect? I don't know. I think I expected it to be a big circular sphere of styrofoam from Joanne's. Like I couldn't imagine that we'd ever see under the mask. But wow, what a thing. What a beautiful talk about mask design, y'all. Like just good creature design. That kid looked fucked up. It was like a mix of an alien and a pumpkin.
I love that when he gets shot, he explodes pumpkin guts. I love that he crawls on the ceiling. I love that his hand stays alive. I love that he reanimates himself. I love the implication that one chomp, he's got some teeth in there in his little mouth. Yes. He's a star.
I love Sam. See, this is what you're supposed to do. His name comes from Samhain, so you have to say Sam, like you say sometimes when you Sam. Like when you're talking to like a little baby, that's how you have to say it. Because he's so cute, and then you're giving that vibe of a W, and so that's how you pronounce it. I've decided. Okay. Okay, is there anything else to discuss?
Well, after because that's not quite the end. Because after he goes to stab him with the lollipop, he gets the candy, and then he eats the candy, and he goes, "Do you know what? I've got places to be. There are other ghouls coming to get you. I'm gonna dip. I'm gonna go across the street." And then we get like the setup of the street, which actually, to bring it back to horror instead of just Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, he's just not that into you. It's a little Terror Tract. If you've ever seen or heard about Terror Tract, which I have. And it's got John Ritter and Bryan Cranston in it, but I tried to find it originally because I was maybe wanting to do it for my birthday movie. And I don't think you can find it anywhere online unless you like maybe buy a DVD on eBay or something. But it's a movie that's about like a real estate agent trying to sell houses on this street. But they've all had horrible murders take place in them or whatever. So it's kind of that vibes also as you like see the werewolf girls in the car, and you see Billy on his like front steps, and you see Rhonda walking home, you see Mr. Krieg on his stairs, you see Emma blowing out the jack-o'-lantern again, and her husband goes, "You might upset someone," and then little Saum is standing across the street like, "Yeah, me bitch, like you're gonna upset me." And then the
he
ghouls show up at his
looks
door.
at his little lollipop and he's like, "Yeah, this has got another kill in it. Yeah, let's go." It's iconic. Oh
I
my
came
God.
here to kill rule breakers and eat candy, and I'm all out of candy.
Amazing. Oh, wow. What
But
a
the
film.
ending shot with the ghouls at the door, at Mr. Krieg's house, and then the kids from the bus, and then it
Yeah.
like cuts to the comic book credits. Gorgeous. I loved it.
Kiss. Beautiful.
I thought it was gorgeous. I thought it was stunning.
Oh, it's such a good, like, he tied it up in a pretty little bow for us, babes. It was
Mhm.
beautiful. It was
Mhm.
stunning. But it's a type of movie where there's totally space to do another one. And so thank God they're finally doing one. Because they greenlit this like back in like 2013. And it's just been sitting and sitting and sitting. I guess Michael Dougherty, I read all these articles and he was just like, "Oh, well, I have to do Godzilla now. So hopefully after Godzilla, I can get back to Trick or Treat." Like he did a Godzilla movie. It was a big deal for him. And so I just think it's really funny that he went from this to Godzilla. But you know, there's through lines. I see it. I understand.
Mhm.
But that brings us to our segments. And our first segment is always, how could this movie be gayer? And isn't it so wonderful that all the werewolves are queer?
Oh yeah, big gay.
Yeah, I
Big
mean
gay.
we tracked the canonically gay moments already, which is that one of the werewolf had a girl sailor last year when they were in San Diego. And Anna Paquin had her queer awakening with Xena on the street. But is there room to make anything else gay? What else would we want to be gay, do we think? Mrs. Henderson, she's a swinger.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
She's
Honestly, a
poly.
little shocked there wasn't the upside down pineapple on her door when we got to the party in the first place. They should have just plopped one on there.
Funny. They really should have. That would have been in the spirit of the film for sure.
Mhm.
Little Easter egg for those who know. Who? What else? What else? Could we
Macy
say?
and her friend, they're probably girlfriends.
Her friend was giving Miranda from Lizzie McGuire. Just
and
saying.
isn't that queer vibes, don't you think?
Oh, for sure, 100%. Look at that hair.
Mhm.
Who else? I mean, I just like him so distracted.
Billy's gonna grow up to be gay.
Okay. I'm supportive of that. Billy, the principal's son?
Yeah.
Who else? The bus driver could be gay. I don't really know his vibes. I didn't really get any vibes off him one way or another, sexually speaking. But yeah, I mean, I think you could kind of do anything that you want. You could have made Emma and her husband into Emma and her wife, you know what I mean? Or Emma could also be a man who hates Halloween instead of a lady.
I don't want them to be a gay couple because then another gay couple slain. Right off the bat, terrible.
Sure.
And also, I don't want to have a Halloween Scrooge in the community if I can stop it because I hate Emma so much. I'll only like her a little bit more if she's gay. I think that mostly I can't think of anything else because I'm so distracted by the feelings that I have towards all of the werewolf ladies.
Yeah. I liked that none of them died because one of my other thoughts at some point was like, is someone from each group gonna commit a murder and is someone from each group gonna die? And none of the werewolves died, and I was so pleased by that.
I love them. They are everything to me. Where's the spin-off about
Did I say
them?
that Rhonda's queer? I think Rhonda's queer.
Oh, Rhonda's gotta be
Oh yeah, I can see that.
queen of the lesbian witches.
She does kind of like Schrader, but I also feel many of us lesbians have liked boys or thought we liked boys along the way. So
Named Schrader.
that could just be part of her journey.
She's figuring it out now that he's out of the
Look,
picture. She's
it's
got her whole life ahead
confusing.
of her. Okay, well then, where would Matthew Lillard fit into this? I think he would have been a great principal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know he would have been a great principal because he always slays roles like that. But so sometimes I'm always like, okay, but where else could we put him? Because so obviously he would be the great principal. I don't think he would like have a shining star moment as the executioner, the robot's husband, but that could be a funny little place for him, maybe.
He could have been the checkout guy at the beginning when they were buying their costumes.
Yeah.
Oh,
With the ears.
one of the
Yeah.
human sacrifices. Yes.
He would have
He
been.
could have been the hot dog.
Sacrifice.
He could have been in that hot dog costume.
I want to
I
see
actually would
him.
love to see him in a hot dog costume humping somebody in a pig costume. I think that'd be fun for him. He'd have a good time with that.
Oh man. I mean, he's great at the very, very casual blink and you missed it cameo a la Scream
Mhm.
2. So
Mm-hmm.
anything's possible. Oh, we need to do another Matthew Lillard film soon. I need to have my spark reawakened. I haven't seen him in so long. Maybe I'll just watch all the Scream movies tonight.
We'll do one in January for his birthday.
That's so long from now.
That's
I
true, but
can
we don't want to
wait.
burn all of his movies.
I know. Patience is a
Maybe we could
virtue,
do
yada,
a 5th
yada.
Tuesday. There's a January 5th Tuesday.
Scooby-Doo.
There's also a November 5th Tuesday.
Scooby-Doo.
Live action.
Anyway.
You gotta do it.
Okay. Yeah, dumb bitch we've already covered,
Emma.
but it's worth saying again. Sure.
It's Emma. It's Emma.
It's Emma.
Okay? Don't disrespect my Christmas, okay? Halloween is my Christmas. And so you cannot step on it. Jesus Christ. I'm going to go up in arms like all those people went with the red cups on Starbucks. That's how I feel about her blowing out the jack-o'-lantern, okay? That type of fury.
There are some other dumb bitches in this movie, but I'm happy to let her have the title. I do think the men who go willingly to Sheep's Meadow with the werewolves, not smart bitch behavior.
Would I have done anything different? No.
Sure. Look, they're alluring.
I can't blame them.
The quarry kids, they're dumb bitches. The bus driver, he's a dumb bitch. You know what I mean? Like there's dumb bitchery to go around here.
For sure.
But she's got hater behavior, so
she's got to go.
She's got to go.
We hate
okay.
her. Tell
us, 9 out of 5 times, what did people think about this movie?
On IMDb on IMDb, this movie got 6.7 out of 10. So, But on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie got 81% fresh from critics and 71% fresh from audiences. So I always think it's interesting, actually, when the critics like things more than audiences, and I always kind of wonder why that is. But this movie is so well put together, like timeline wise, and like sprinkling clues throughout, and like sprinkling appearances from the other stories and intermingling them, both just for funsies and for Easter eggs, and also to a degree to like establish timeline. I think probably critics must have appreciated like how well done that was, and like tracking that. And I also appreciated that a lot.
Yeah. I mean,
That said, yeah, you go if you have a strong feeling because I'm not ready yet.
oh yeah, I'll go first. This was like a total fun surprise for me. I had no idea what to expect, and it's so fun to have had a movie out in the world for like a long ass time. 2007 was a while ago. And still have not been spoiled. What a great juxtaposition from last week when we did The Sixth Sense. We planned that, of course. No. But this movie was such a surprise and it was so fun and it had so many things that I love and then also a lot of vomit, which I didn't. But I think that it was an effective way to make everyone feel upset. And I didn't realize that it was blood at first. And then once I realized that, I felt much worse.
I think it was mainly it was very brown when we saw it originally, and then the principal dragged him inside as he continued to like burp up barfy blood at that point. I think it must have become more
please
bloody
continue
at that point.
talking
That's just
about
my
it.
speculation.
I
Lots of good
frankly
barfs.
can't continue picturing it at this time.
I feel like that Billy recreated that look at the end. I thought that was iconic. His costume is his dad.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Really
I forgot
showing
about that
the
part.
completion of the cycle, generational, not trauma,
Murder. Serial killer.
idolization. You get it. You hear what we're putting down.
I got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it just I had a great time. I had a great time. I thought it was awesome. I don't think it was perfect, but I thought it was pretty damn near close. It's got everything I am looking for. I'm not going to give it a 5 out of 5, but I am going to get it a 4.7. I had a great time. What a little lovely time for Monica. How did you
That's
feel?
so funny. In my head, I was also thinking maybe I'm gonna give this a 4.7.
Oh my god, twinsies.
Oh my god, twinsies. Because you're right. I think it's really, really well done, but there's enough of it that made me go, that I don't want to give it 5 knives out of 5s.
Yeah.
But
The
it is well put
2007
together.
of it all.
Yeah, and I think for the most part, I'm not going to speak for any communities I can't speak for, but if they're chill with it, I'm chill with it. So I don't know, 4.7 works for me. I like those vibes.
This gets a 4 out of 5 for me.
Mm.
I had a good time. I think this would be the great movie to like put on mute in the background of a Halloween party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or this movie would be fun to like watch when you're like decorating your house for like Halloween. You know what I mean? Like
where you can kind of come and go through the room.
Right? Like it makes good background fodder. But I don't know if I would like sit and like add this into my like must watch like and pay attention to Halloween rotation. But I did surprisingly have a great time that I was not expecting to, quite frankly.
Nice.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean,
cool,
I think anthology movies can be like tricky to digest because there's so many different stories going on, but I would definitely be interested in the sequel. So
yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to get more of a little how do I say it? Sound. You have to say it like you're a little sad, I guess. I don't know. Will I be spending $30 at Spirit Halloween on an officially licensed Psalm doll this week? Maybe they sell them there. And it's officially licensed. So I'm going all in, babes. I'm going all in.
You got to
Love that
financially
journey
support
for
their
you.
sequel endeavor.
Oh yeah, they're releasing new merch every year. That they made a big point of that in all the articles. They're like, there's merch coming still. The sequel must be coming. And now it finally is. But next week's a big week, Sid.
Next week, we are doing the day after my birthday. And therefore,
Ooh.
it's still my birthday because it's Sydney Palooza, and Sydney Palooza doesn't stop until the end of the month with Halloween.
That is true.
What is the only way to end Spooktober and Sydney Palooza? What do I love more than anything, guys?
80s movies. I know the answer this time.
Is it 80s movies?
It's 80s movies. And you know,
And fake blood.
and fake blood. But you know what's here? Poltergeist.
Say it like this. Say it like this. Poltergeist.
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 Oh my God.
Poltergeist.
I can't believe you haven't seen this movie, Chelsea. This is gonna be
What
fun.
can I say? I'm just an innocent young maiden.
What can you say?
But yeah, I mean, not only are we doing Poltergeist next, but if you'll recall, if you'll go on our social media, you will remember we also have a contest where we are giving away Poltergeist and The Last Boys on digital. So go check out our Instagram post about it to find out the rules and how you can enter and how you can win things, which is always fun to do.
Because you know you love winning things.
I love to win. As an Aries, it's something that's deeply important to me. So go on that social media. Why don't you do it right now? Here, I'll give you the @. It's @spooky_Tuesday. That's us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We also have a Facebook and a Tumblr @SpookyTuesdayPod. And we are on Letterboxd @SpookyTuesday. And once again, we have one YouTube video and it's really good. So why not go like and subscribe on YouTube? You just search Spooky Tuesday Pod for that one, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, in the words of Sam himself, thanks for listening.
What?
That's a quote from the movie. I don't know how you missed it.
You don't
Sydney.
remember that part? I can't believe you don't remember that part where Sam at the end just pulls, like it's the end credits, he pulls the screen over and he says, thanks for listening to Spooky Tuesday, and then the movie ends.
It's an Easter egg for us.
I
It's
didn't
really
finish the
something.
credits. I didn't finish the credits. So that
Literally
makes
Oh,
sense.
well, that must be why.
Bummer for me. Bye, spookies.
I don't even know what that was. Coach Taylor was in a hot dog costume, but fucking a pig.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Height, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamara Simons, who you can follow on Instagram @Captain Tamara, and our podcast art is by Mary Murphy, who you can find on Instagram @the_moon_OMG.